Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third Road to the Forum session today. Today's session is about logistics and accessibility. And we're really excited to have everyone join us. My name is Jessica, and I'm on the membership team here at AWID, and I am joining you from a very sunny Bulgarian seacoast. A brief visual description of myself. Have fairly pale skin, white. I am wearing a black sweatshirt. My hair is tightly pulled back in a tiny bun, which has some blue in it. I'm wearing red lipstick. That's for you all. And I have a silver necklace on. So we're excited to be here in this space on our road to the forum, which is in only a few weeks. Can you believe it? I cannot. And whether you're joining us in person, virtually from our homes, or one of the many hubs that's scattered around the world. Today's session is the third of a four-part series called The Road to the Forum, and each of these sessions gives different useful information to prepare everyone on what they can expect to participate in the forum. So today, specifically, we're going to be talking about logistics and how a group of amazing feminists we've tried to make this forum as accessible as possible from the time that everyone registers and leaves their home to when they get back. So we've been calling it the home and back journey. Just so everyone knows, we have our logistics staff team who are also here in the back end to help with any specific questions that you might have about logistics and situations you want to troubleshoot with us on a personal level. So anything from booking flights for access funded folks to visa letters, childcare, they're all on standby, and you can just write those in the question answer box because some of the information might be a bit more general and broad. So please use that. As always, we wanted to remind our audience that sometimes feminism is not perfect. It's a learning journey that we're all on. Not all of the ideas are necessarily shared by everyone, and that's okay. If you have any questions or comments, share those in the chat. If you need to step away, do so if you need to. Okay, let's start. Can someone drop the Menti again so we can do it? And I really want to encourage everyone again to, sorry, I have to get to the sharing screen portion. I want everyone to say who they are and where they're joining us in the chat. So let's see what people are saying in the Menti. Okay, where are folks from? If you just go to the chat, you can see a Menti, and we can see that people say, I want you to banter with me. Are you here? Look at these people. They wake up super early. And is someone coming from New Zealand?
Wow. I am here, Jess. Hello.
Hi, Faye. Do you want to introduce yourself while we do this and give us a short visual description?
Of course. My name is Faye Macheke. I'm one of the co-executive directors at AWID. I am here based in Cape Town. It is very sunny out today. It's our summer. So we're very happy, but also happy to be meeting you all in Bangkok soon. My pronouns are she, her, and I am wearing a smudged black and purple top. I have blonde braids on. I'm a Black woman, imagine that. And yeah, very excited to be here with you all.
Thanks, Faye. Wow, look at everyone joining us. This is really exciting. Just so we can get a bit of a visual, this is a map where people are populating, where they're joining us from. So we have as far, I don't know, it's hard to say east and west, but anyway, people waking up at the wee hours of the morning, probably 6 a.m. In Mexico to be here, all the way across from people in New Zealand at the other far end, and many, many people in between. Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, Jess, I just want to commiserate with the people that are reeling from the elections, the US election. So our thoughts are with you, and, we'll rise again.
Yeah, I think our thoughts are with everyone, like a
Yeah.
very disappointing outcome. Let's see our next question. How many AWID forums have you attended? Wow, we have a lot of first timers here. This is exciting. Faye, how many have you been to?
I've attended 2, one of which I was kicked out, might I add.
What?
Not invited. Yes, not invited. And yeah, here we are. I think I'm invited to this one.
Good. A rebel turned ED of AWID. That's amazing. So we have some people who have been to one other one, a few, 2, 3. Wow. Normally there's at least one person who's been to, like a real keener who's been to all of them. But considering they're every 4 years, quite a long time ago. So let's move on to the next question.
Yes, there's certainly going to be some that have been to every forum coming. We have 248 participants. You will meet them. You will meet all the other ones.
So this question is, what does accessibility mean to you? So we were really conscious as AWID to make sure that accessibility was woven into all of the logistics planning. So let's now hear what other people are saying. It means being able to fully participate in a space with respect for my identity and dignity. Faye, do you want to read one?
Everyone feels a sense of belonging. I love that.
A space that is welcoming to all disabled, neurodiverse, chronically ill, and immunocompromised people. A space where we can all come as we are. We are enabled experience is not assumed the norm.
That's so true. A place that's easier for everyone to access the program, for everybody in any situation. There's a lot of inclusivity there in all the comments.
Yeah, totally. Like being able to join no matter your challenges, justice to enable me to make a decision.
To have the same opportunity to engage and benefit from the space. Lots and lots of contributions here, Jess.
Yeah, this is amazing. And I think this is really good too, because, we're going to keep this and we can see if we've missed anything for later. Ability for everyone to participate meaningfully in the forum, regardless of their identity, ability, and status. Amazing.
That I can live openly with HIV and feel safe to bring my meals and talk about being queer and a sex worker. And I need this for my friends too. We need this for everybody. That is such a lovely message.
Yeah, amazing. So there are many here. I'm just going to stop it because we have a lot of logistics and we're going to, wow, even more coming. We're going to talk about this more. So thanks, everyone. Oop. Off to you, Faye.
Thanks, Jess. So I guess the first question, I see that there are quite a lot of first-timers, and I thought we would just start with talking about why the forum in Thailand, for some of you who might not know. But each 4 years, the forum goes to a different region. It was time for the AWID Forum to go to Asia, and the AWID team visited many, many countries in the region and conducted consultations and risk analysis on where the most viable option could be. We did this thinking about what accessibility could look like, and I really want to say that most of your comments, in fact, all your comments really resonate with what we were trying to look for, and we chose the most viable option, maybe not the best, but the most viable option at the time to bring together at that time, we were thinking 2,500 participants. We now will be bringing nearly 4,000 feminists as safely as possible, and this was approved by our board. I also want to go to what we heard. We did quite a lot of consultations from folks in the region, from our members, and I heard these maybe 4 things that I want to repeat here. One was that you wanted a bold and energizing forum that was engaging, but also accessible. There was a lot said about safety, about fearing the immigration, etc. But you were also looking for something invigorating and challenging, restful and healing. We hope that we have tried to satisfy those wishes. We also heard that in terms of our political outlook as a movement, we were ready for a leap. What that leap is, we are going to have 4 days to discuss. And that leap was in how we organize internally as a movement, but also how we influence externally. You're going to hear a lot more about resourcing, etc. But we will have, again, 4 days to do this. We also heard from you that you wanted more spaces for convenings, more spaces to be able to meet together. And this is why we've created the biggest ever forum, which will be, as I said, nearly 4,000 participants and up to 3,000 virtual or hybrid connections. We also heard that you really wanted to be grounded in the space that we're in. So we're hoping that we will have a lot of conversation with folks in Thailand, in Asia, in the Pacific, in fact, in all regions, so that we can have a comprehensive movement engagement strategies and membership infrastructure conversations. Historically, the forum has always been a key space for activists and funders to come together. And this conversation that we're having is really about how do we actually come together? How do we come together in as safe as possible? How do we travel back and forth? And how do we ensure that from home to the forum and back, we all feel as safe as possible? We created different committees to enable this. One is a Thai committee because they are hosts, making us feel as comfortable as we can. The busiest one probably was the accessibility committee, because we did not want a forum with access. We wanted an accessible forum. And we hope that today you will get to hear a lot more about what we have done to try and address those needs that you have raised with us in terms of the kind of forum that you want, but also the journey that you wanted to take to the forum. I will stop here, Jess, and over to you.
Actually, I'm just going to pass it on to yourself, Tina, and Caroline to actually talk about logistics. Can we put up the PowerPoint, please?
Okay, here we go. Caroline and Tina, would you like to start by introducing yourself?
Thank you, Faye. Yeah, sure, I can go. Thank you for sharing the background in regards to why we are going back to Bangkok. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Christine Rugwaru, but most people here call me Tina, especially at AWID, and I love it. I'll try and describe what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a black light sweater. It is also sunny in Nairobi, where I am, with an orange dress and a gold necklace with a pearl. I work at AWID as the logistics lead. And I would also like to share that I've been in charge of registrations, to apologize to all that might have experienced a challenge in regards to when you're registering, or you're trying to access your account, or you're waiting for correspondence from us. We are doing everything to rectify that and be sure we will resolve your issue. Thank you so much, and I'll pass it on to Caroline to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Tina. My name is Caroline Sin. I'm the Forum Deputy Director. I was forum manager in 2008, and I kept Faye out of the forum, but we have put that behind us for now. It's lovely that that everyone is here. I'm calling in from Toronto, where I live. I am a middle-aged East Asian woman, Korean, with sort of a shoulder-length black bob and signature big Coke bottle glasses. And I too put on a little bit of lipstick for you all, but it's not as flashy as Jessica's. Welcome, everybody. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you both. I'm just seeing from the comments, people saying Bangkok is a great place for mentioned reasons. It sounds amazing. I'm immunocompromised, so I'm hoping for safety in that regards. Excitement at the number of people coming. So, Caroline, can you tell us a bit of what we need to know in terms of logistics coming to the forum?
Sure. So logistics is a sort of a big basket, and I didn't want to go through all of the little details. So let me share with you the things that I think are probably on your mind. So I think one of the biggest challenges when you're traveling is that you're arriving in a new country. You don't know where you are. You often don't speak the language, and you're all alone. These are the kinds of things that we've been thinking about. And so what I want to share with you is some of the measures that we've put in place. So when you arrive in Bangkok, for everyone who gives us their flight information by November 15th, we are providing a VIP service, which means you will be met outside your airplane. So as you're deplaning, someone will be there with a sign with your name on it, and they will take you through security and immigration in a VIP lane, and we'll take you to pick up your luggage, and then we'll drop you off at the AWID desk. Now, some of you are not, will not get us your information in time for November 15th. For those of you who are unable to do that, I also wanted to let you know that there will be a TCEP desk. TCEP is TCEB, which is the Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau. They have a desk inside near the luggage carousels, and AWID will also have our sign there. So if you get lost, even before you leave the airport, please look around for the TCEP sign and the AWID sign, and someone will be able to help you. AWID is also going to have desks outside when you exit with your luggage on the international side. So we'll have people with signs and a desk there. So once again, if you're lost, look for the AWID signs. We will have staff there to get you on the shuttle bus and to your hotel. And then once you're at your hotel and ready to come to the conference center, we will also have staff at the hotels helping you with your transfers so that you're not going to wonder if you're lost and am I waiting in the wrong spot? Why am I here by myself? There will be staff there to help you to where you are going. And then in terms of what to expect logistically, when you're on site, there will be big screens with the agenda. We'll have 4 help desks and 2 accessibility desks. So, and then there will be staff that I think they will be wearing sashes. So there will be many people that you can ask for help. All of our help desks will be multilingual, and the staff that we're trying to provide access in all languages. I wanted to say a little bit about childcare as well. There will be childcare at the forum, and what that will look like is a daycare or let's say play care space. A play space for toddlers from around age 3 to 10. This will be part of a larger family space. We will provide a space for people who are breastfeeding and also a space for infants and their carers. So whether that's a partner, a family member, a nanny, that kind of thing. So that space will be there. For those of you who are interested in having a nanny or someone local help care for your child, we can put you in touch with someone who can help you with that hiring. And finally, we will have a forum app that we're planning to soft launch it in the middle of November, so around November 15th with presenters. And then shortly after that, we will share it with everyone else. And the reason I wanted to mention the app is for those of you who are coming first time to the forum, we're hoping to have there's a section on the app called the Forum Kitchen Table, and we're going to have certain forums on there. So I encourage you to look at it because we are gearing it to people who, at least this initial part, for people who haven't come to a forum before. So there will be other people like you know, where it's their first time, and they'll be able to come in and say, hey, I'm coming for the first time. I'm coming from Kenya. Is there anyone else? Or I'm working on this. Is there anyone else working on this that's coming? So there will be ways for you to interact before you get there. I'm going to stop there and pass it back to you, Faye.
Thanks, Caroline. And I see there's a bit of panic around where do we put this information before the 15th of November. Tina, would you like to just explain where on the registration folks put their flight information? And just before you explain, just to let you know that the priority lanes will be there from the 28th of November. Am I correct, Caroline?
Yes.
From the 28th of November, and it doesn't matter what visa you're on, you will still be able to access the priority line if you're coming to the AWID Forum. So over to you, Tina. Where is this information supposed to be?
Thank you, Faye. When you are registering, I'm sure even you registered, you can log in back to your account, and then there's a section called My Profile. So My Profile allows you to fill in details in regards to your flight. It will also allow you to fill details in regards to child and carers. In case you're traveling with a child and a carer, you input the details there. So it's just go back to our website, log in into your account. Under My Profile, you'll be able to input those details there. So that's where they go and they share the details, and then we can get them, plan for their transfers. Just like Caroline had shared, we will provide transfers from the airport to the forum hotels. Yes.
Thanks so much. So it's back to the registration portal under My Profile to fill in all that information.
Yes.
Now, I'm also keeping an eye on the chat to try and catch some of these questions. But while that is happening, maybe this question is to you, Tina, because you have been really responsible for registrations. What are some of the challenges participants are facing in coming to the forum? What are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing that participants?
Wow, quite a question. It's a vast one, but I'll tackle like the major challenges that we've realized most people are experiencing while preparing to come to the forum. The first one is, I'll tackle 2 or 3 because of time. The first one is around visas. For countries that require someone to have a visa before traveling to Thailand, you find that whether I am applying for my visa in country, some people need to travel long distances or even travel internationally. Can you imagine that? So you find that some embassies only serve like 10 countries within their vicinity. So, and you have to present yourself physically there. So that is one of the challenges that most participants are experiencing. Also, like someone submits their document and still they get a rejection. Please, if you've encountered a rejection for one reason or another, or you're still experiencing challenges in regards to your visa application, write to us in our emails on the website, and then we'll be able to assist you. But please bear in mind that we'll do our best, but the embassy sometimes has the final say. Then the second challenge is around first-time travel. I remember when I was traveling internationally, the first time I was a bit anxious. What do I do? Is my passport and my yellow fever adequate? Will I be required to submit more documents? So for first-time travelers, if you feel anxious or unsure about anything, the first thing we are doing is like the learning journeys we have to share as much information as possible. We'll also launch the Forum app, whereby you can establish a buddy system in terms of like when we launch the app, you're able to create friends and colleagues that are traveling in the same route, and then you can travel together. It gives you a bit of like security and some warmth. We are also encouraging people to book the same flight. Then the last challenge is around immigration. Some people are wondering, how do I go through immigration? What do I do in terms of like I'm stuck or I'm not cleared to travel? Please also once you start your travel and you're experiencing that, get in touch with us. But at Bangkok, we'll have our staff, our PCO staff, our event manager staff that will assist in the clearance through immigration. And just like Caroline had shared, we have the fast track or the MICE lane that will enable participants to be shoved through immigration. If there are any issues in terms of clearance, we'll be able to assist you. And the last one is the anxiety around getting lost in Bangkok. What do I do after I finish my clearance? So we'll provide you with transport from the airport, and there'll be staff to show you where those shuttle buses are and drop you at the Forum hotels. And also when you are there and you want to explore in your hotel, feel free to ask the help desk or the reception the direction to a certain place. Also feel free to ask the AWID staff and our event manager, where is this, and we'll be able to assist you. So in a very short nutshell, those are the major challenges that people are sharing as their anxieties or not sure on how to go about that. Over to you, Faye. And in case I've forgotten anything or you'd like to add something, please feel free to add.
Thank you so much. We have so many questions here, and I think that you've actually addressed some of the risks and also talked about how we've mitigated them. I'm just going through the questions again and looking at some of the repeated questions on this on the webinar chat. One of the things that keeps recurring is folks that are self-funded who are not staying in official hotels. Can they also be part of the priority lane? So I just want to say the difference is just that you're self-funded. Everybody coming to the forum can have access to the priority lane. Repeating that again. And you will be met at the plane. There's a question here for you, Caroline, around what is the name of the Forum app and when will the Forum app be available?
Yes, so the name of the Forum app is Canopy, and it's a strange spelling. It's CANAPII. And we're doing a soft launch on November 15th with presenters. And we are hoping to launch a week after that for everybody else. So it will be the end of November. We're working as quickly as we can, but translating into 5 languages has been a lot of work. So towards the end of November, November 15th for the soft launch, and then a week or so after. Faye, I wanted to just address the previous question about self-funded versus access-funded and the priority lanes. So I just wanted to confirm what Faye says. It doesn't matter whether you're self-funded or access-funded. The one difference is once you leave the airport, the difference is actually whether you're staying at an official Forum hotel or not. So all the access-funded people will be staying at an official Forum hotel, but those of you who are self-funded might not be. The one thing I wanted to say is please check if your hotel is close to an official Forum hotel. If that's the case, you are welcome to hop on the bus. Let's say you're close to the Marriott, but you're not actually in the Marriott. You're welcome to get on the shuttle bus and take our shuttle bus to the Marriott and then just walk to your hotel. Same with daily. If you're close to one of the official Forum hotels, you can just walk over to it and catch the shuttle bus to the convention center.
Thank you both. I'm looking at the time, and please keep those questions coming. Our colleagues will be responding in the chat if I don't catch them. The questions around COVID and vulnerability, those will be answered a bit later, so I will skip right past those. I think the next big question is, how will registrations work? Tina, Caroline, any one of you want to take on that question?
Tina, do you want to go ahead?
Yes. So you've traveled, you've arrived. How will the registrations work? We have two pre-forum meetings that are happening on first. So for people that are coming for the pre-forum meetings, which are happening in Marriott, you'll have a chance to register on 30th. Where will you do your registration? The same hotel, Marriott. Practically, what will happen during the registration? So you get tested for COVID, you'll get a self-test kit, or a nurse will be there to assist you to take a COVID test. After taking your COVID test, please take a picture of the results. And then thereafter, you'll be shown a registration kiosk. We have kiosks that people will be using to self-register, but at the same time, we have staff that will be assisting if you need assistance. After you key in your details, a badge will be printed for you. Please make sure you get the correct badge in terms of if you ticked that you consented to being photographed or not. There are different badge colors, and then you'll be issued with a swag bag. So that is on 30th. And then on 1st in the morning, before you go for the pre-forum meetings, for people that are coming for the pre-forum meetings, how does the main forum registration happen, where and when? We'll open the registration on 1st of December in two venues. The first one is the Marriott Hotel, which is the Access Fund Hotel, plus where the pre-forum meetings were happening. And then at our forum venue, which is Queen Sirikit National Convention Center, the same thing will apply. You'll do a COVID test. After a COVID test, you'll self-register in a kiosk, or you'll be assisted to register. You'll be issued with a badge, and then also will be issued with a swag bag. And then after that, you can choose to look around the convention center and then prepare to come to the forum start on 2nd. On 2nd, when you're coming for the forum, please carry your badge and also the picture of your COVID test, which you'll need during day 1 only. So that's about registration. Caroline, Faye, did I forget anything about registration that you'd like to add?
No, thank you. Caroline, anything from you?
I was at the same time monitoring some of the questions. So if you've already said this, my apologies, but I just wanted to say that that you will need to come prepared. We'll be sending you a QR code, and that's what we'll be using for registration. Tina, did you already say that?
No, I forgot to say that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You are.
Okay, great. Yeah.
QR code that you scan. When you scan, you confirm your details. They're correct. If they're correct, you print the badge. If they're incorrect for any reason, we'll be there to correct them. And then I've seen on the chat, somebody asking, are we charging for the COVID test? No, you'll be issued a COVID self-test. It will be tested for free. You'll not be required to pay on site. So you will not pay on site for the COVID test. Yeah.
Okay, I see Jess is telling us we don't have too much time and there are many questions. Just to say that if you're still looking for funding, please continue to do so. We have funded through the Access Fund close to 1,400 participants, and we wish we could fund everybody. We really want everybody to be there, but we are at capacity right now. We still have the virtual and online registrations open, so please feel free. We've got an exciting lineup as well, and there will be communication with the main forum. Caroline, perhaps you can just give us a really quick but sneak preview into what the program would look like for the day.
Sure. So the program has really expanded for this forum, as well as the numbers. So the past forums, it's just been the sessions and an exhibit, but we have so much more going on this time around. So we will be starting with daily plenaries, although on the fourth day we'll be ending with the plenary. And then in terms of the number of concurrent sessions we have in each session slot, if you include the art sessions, we are looking at 22 session slots and close to 300 sessions altogether. But in addition to the sessions, we have a number of spaces, including the festival hall, which will have a stage and performances, art installations, lounges, as well as a marketplace where you can buy things, and then an exhibit area where you can visit a lot of different organizations, see what they're doing. We have a lot of arts programming. I would say a third of our program is arts. So as you walk around the conference center, I hope you enjoy the different installations, the visual art. They'll be all through the hallways and in the festival spaces. We have an early morning, a day program, and an evening program. The early morning program is for you early risers. There's some yoga and then a reflection session as well. So whether you want to do something more cognitive or physical, we have those options for you. Then there's the day program that runs from 9 to 5:30. It starts with the plenaries, and then you have the sessions. And then we have an evening program as well. So we have the festival after dark. So the festival hall, we're in the evening, we're hoping to have a DJ. There might be some dancing, some places for you to just sit and listen to music. Oh, I forgot one thing that we forgot to list here. We're also going to have a low sensory zone, because we understand with 3,500 people all packed in a space that sometimes you just might want to go somewhere and just calm yourself down. So this will be a zone where you can rest, meditate, sleep, do a little bit of work quietly. And that'll be open all day and into the evening. We also have a big gala dinner on the third day, excuse me, which is a Wednesday. And all I can say is, as always, it will involve lots of dancing and celebration and performances. We also have on the first 2 days, as part of our evening program, we have film screenings, we have theatrical screenings, and then we also have different receptions and events that the people are planning. Some of those events are private, but many of them are open to forum participants. And so so basically, you could spend from 7:45 to 10 o'clock at the convention center, but you're also welcome to leave and come back as well. The one thing that I just want to let you know, if you're wondering, when am I going to eat in all of this, that we will be providing 2 coffee breaks, very substantial with lots of snacks, a big lunch. And in the evening, if you need a place to eat, there are food courts downstairs. But on the way, the Queen's Circuit, the convention center is connected to the metro. And on the way in, there's lots of stalls with people just selling different kinds of food. So just wanted to throw that in there. But basically, the long and short of it is there is a lot going on, and we're really excited about it, and hope you get to try a little bit of everything.
Thank you so much, Caroline. It sounds like there is something for everybody. So we have to move on now to our accessibility section, and I'm going to ask you, Ekayete, to get ready to come on. And as you're getting ready to come on, Caroline, perhaps you just want to quickly let us know about when presenters can set up while Ekayete is coming.
Sure. So presenters don't need to set up. Mostly the rooms will be, the session rooms will be set up in specific ways, like theater style or cushions in a circle kind of thing. What presenters will need to do is we have a presenters room. We would like you to go to the presenters room at least a day before, and then we'll send you notifications on the app to do that, to test and download your presentation so that we'll send it to your room at the time of your session. What we ask is that you come to your session room a minimum of 15 minutes beforehand, and that's when we'll make sure everything's working and we'll run through details with you. Those of you who have exhibit and marketplace or other spaces, the setup will happen the day before. So it's going to happen on December 1st. And in the middle of November, you will get what we're calling an exhibitor's package, which tells you exactly how the setup is going to happen. And then there will also be set times for you to come and review your space and make sure it's okay. Does that answer your question, Faye?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Caroline, and welcome Ekayete and Zachariah from our accessibility committee. We will say goodbye to Caroline, and Tina is already gone. Welcome, Isabel. So over to you three for the next session. Please go ahead. Ekayete, I think, is frozen. Isabel, do you want to take over, or Zachariah?
Are you frozen, Ekayete, or are you there? Let's just check.
It looks like she's frozen. I will contact her. Please do carry on.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so Ekayete, when she comes back, is going to give us an overview of the work of the Accessibility Committee and some of the wins that we've had along the way. And then I was going to go on to talk about our COVID protocols specifically, but maybe I can jump into that because there's been quite a few questions in the chat anyway. Would that be okay? And then we'll come back when Ekayete is back. Okay. Oh no, she's back. Are you here? Okay, you're on mute, but I think you're
okay. And then I got it. Sorry about that. The network challenge is not very strong. My name is Ekayete Judith Moore. I am a Black African woman. I'm from Nigeria. I am carrying a braid. I'm wearing on a braid with gold color, and I'm also putting on what I would describe as a shirt gown, because it's not just a small shirt, it's all the way down, and it's multicolored. My pronouns are she, her. I have a light makeup I will describe as not too harsh, nude makeup. I'm a member of the Accessibility Committee, and I sit on the board of AWID. So my task is just very simple, not as complex as the logistics. So logistics have given us a good grounding for us to just flow. So I'm going to say just a little bit about the Accessibility Committee and why it was formed. So the Accessibility Committee was is a very interesting committee which I'm part of, and was very exciting as we had a lot of cross-cutting collaboration with other committees. And the reason for forming the Accessibility Committee was just to make the forum space very welcoming, very, very welcoming, so that participants can bring their full self and just be who they are. And so that was just one of the thinking. We didn't want any chaotic space. We just wanted everybody to come the way they are and also be welcome. And so again, the thinking behind it was that we're trying to curate a journey from home even to the forum and back home. And so we're using accessibility lens from when you leave the house, from when you're participating to be in the forum, and when you return. So that gives us another entry point for cross-collaboration with other committees. And generally, we wanted to create an enabling and flexible space and processes so that can facilitate very effective participation and engagement with participants and meet their diverse expectation. So AWID then wanted to bring together feminists working in the disability justice space with lived experiences, plus people, trans people, living with HIV and women, and all of that intersectionality, so that we can use that lens in pushing for the accessibility that we wanted to see, or to create the enabling space that would have happened within the team. So the approach was movement. Like I said, we went around movement, looking for the expert and those who had the experience to. So that was generally the thoughts behind it. And we had this advisory committee, whose business was just to keep pushing and reminding the committee of what they needed to do. So we had that push, and people came with a lot of expertise to it. So now that we went to work, and I'm happy to tell you that we had some interesting outcome as we went to work. We had some wins, and we have some exciting story to tell you. Through the accessibility committee, we're able to hire an access coordinator. So there's a dedicated coordinator who will be taking on all the issues of accessibility. There's an email which will be supplied at the end of the day. You don't need to panic. If there's anything that you haven't known or you're yet to know about access, you meet that forum coming, the coordinator that has been hired. We also made sure that we provided support workers. Support workers were covered from the access funds, like our PAs and people who need to support people with disability and other needs to become to allow people with disabilities or other people have effective participation during the forum. We had international sign language interpreters engaged, so that you don't need to fear if you have any issue that has to do with sign language communication, and we have that on standby. We also went as far as making provision for people to borrow manual wheelchairs. We know that in this kind of forum, we could have issues with our wheelchair, we got broken, and having a space is always a problem, and you know what that will do to the mobility of those who are wheelchair riders. So don't just panic. We have a place where you can borrow manual wheelchair. We also have charging points for electric wheelchairs. So in case you forgot your charger, but please do come with your charger because they have different specifications. But where to charge your electric wheelchair wouldn't be a problem at all. So there's that dedicated charging point where you can charge your electric wheelchair. We also have risk spaces. We are taking well-being very seriously for everyone, not just people with disabilities. So we have rest spaces in various locations, why they're low. So you're having to experience some low energy, you can take a break and just go there to relax a bit. We've also tried to create help desks and on-site accessibility coordinators that would rally run in case you get anything missing or in case you are really, really confused. There's an help desk. So there will be a signage to that effect that will point you to that. In terms of hotel, we took our time very well to go through hotels to ensure that we had real accessible features, the bathroom, so everything that has to do with lodging and accessibility, we already had put that into place. And the accessible shuttle buses as well. So don't just panic. You have dedicated buses for those who might need accessible buses. We have taken access into consideration for virtual engagement and Zoom. So even in the breakout sections and all of that, we know this big forum is hybrid. We'll have those who will attend in person, and we have those who will be attending virtually. So all accessibility features that will allow you to attend has also been taken into consideration. Otherwise, the other ones that was just beyond our control, we're still discussing. Unfortunately, guide dogs is something that is difficult. Now, it's a difficult conversation. We hope we will pull through as time goes on. There will be an update on that. Then again, we don't really have real materials on a physical long run, but we do have, volunteers that we help to supply, and there are other features, soft copies. Instead of you having a hard copies, you have all those sticks in soft copies that you can use, but physical braille for you to read through is not there. So if you get lost, or if there's anything that we are leaving out at this point, we have instruction for specific access needs. Like I told you earlier, we already hired a coordinator that we're looking into accessibility. So, but for me, the exciting thing that has happened during this period was the simulation. We did not just sit on one corner and start imagining access. We were there in person and simulated. If we went to the hotel, we needed to see that indeed the physical, the features met the accessibility needs. I mean, I could sit on my wheelchair to try to practically see if that wheelchair could get into the bathroom. So we did that practical simulation, which is something that is very interesting. We've tested all of this, and remember, we can't be 100% yet, but just to tell you that we gave it all that is needed. We gave our time, our energy for all of this, and we did a lot of cross collaboration. We're working with other committees to see what will happen. You're boarding the flight, don't worry, but ensure that your ticket is marked WCH. Carol, please do not allow them mark your ticket WCH, because that's where the problem, the coding, that's where the problem might just come in. They may mistake you for a sick person if you're a wheelchair rider, and they will insist that you bring a medical report. So it's always like a problem. We need to talk. I know logistic team is also already listening, that is done, but I'm also telling you as a participant, if you want to go to all of that, ensure that your ticket is marked, and it's marked that you need a wheelchair, but not that you are a sick person, because it's just a tiny difference between those. I'm very mindful of time, knowing that we're almost gone overboard, but these are just the summary that I can give you on the work that the Accessibility Committee has done, and they did a real good work. We are still here. Peradventure there are gaps. It's not too late, and we'll be ready to take your comments, concern, and continue to work to ensure that we bridge those gaps before you even arrive. I do not want to sound repetitive, so at this point in time, I would like to turn over to Isabel. Isabel, I guess it's you. And if there are any questions, I think we could take it as we move on, so I don't take too much of your time. So Isabel, over to you.
Thank you, Okete. That was a very comprehensive and succinct account of work that's been a year in the making. So I think you did an excellent job. Thank you. I have to say that was also one of the things that stuck with me from the process, was the fact that the way we did as a group go around the hotels, the venue, with all our different access needs to experience it ourselves, right? That was something that stuck out for me from the process, rather than just doing it as a tick box exercise or, doing it in theory. So yeah, so let me introduce myself. My name is Isabel Marler. My pronouns are she, her. By way of a visual description, I'm a white woman in my 30s. I have shoulder length, dark blonde hair. And I am wearing a white shirt that says Big Sick Energy on it. I'm in my home office, and my chair has a green keffiyeh draped over it, and there's a poster in solidarity with Rojava on the wall behind me, so representing the causes today. My work at AWID focuses on feminist resistance to fascisms and fundamentalisms, but for the context of this call, I've also been working with the Accessibility Committee, the Disability Justice Advocate, and I've been leading the process to create the health guidelines and the COVID and broader health guidelines for the forum, which is what I'm going to tell you about now in my short amount of time. I've seen there's a lot of questions in the chat, so I really appreciate the interest, the concern, the questions, and hopefully I'm going to do them justice. To give a little bit of background on the process of how we came to the protocol, the strategy that we arrived with now, we began talking about this over a year ago. We had a comprehensive consultation process. I brought the understandings of the issues from chronic illness communities, from disabled communities most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. But we had a very extensive process of consultation within AWID, through the Accessibility Committee, and also through external consultants who we hired as experts specifically in this topic. I think it came from recognizing the responsibility that comes with an event this large, that we have to kind of have a different level of consideration, especially for the amount of people we're bringing from all over the world to a gathering, and to reflect the current reality, to realize that we can't organize convenings the same way we organized them in 2019, that the world has changed and we've kind of adapted with it. We know that public health measures have been dropped by many governments, but we still recognize our responsibility, and we don't see our responsibility as being led by government policy, but by our own feminist ethics. We've been trying to be led by a desire to protect the most vulnerable. That means disabled people and immunocompromised people, but that also means anyone who is marginalized by, another factor of social location and identity is more likely to have worse health outcomes in general, right? So we've kind of been looking at it in a holistic way. We know that from the start of the pandemic, there has been completely unjust vaccine hoarding by global north countries, by corporations, and that has had real impacts on people in global south countries who still do not have vaccine access. The world is also waking up to the reality of long COVID, and the fact that 1 in 10 infections can lead to long-term health outcomes, and that's, again, affects marginalized people more, and that now there's around 400 million people worldwide with long COVID. So this is the world we're in, we're facing it, we're adapting. And although that's kind of like scary statistics and information to share, this really, we've seen this through a positive framing throughout. We recognize that this is not the norm for conferences in 2024. Many people are not taking this as a concern or a priority, but the questions I'm seeing in the chat, the concerns about this, the personal impact, like I can see that that this is a concern to many people in our community. And like I said, we've been framing it positively, seeing it as a test of what's possible when thousands of feminists come together and try our best to take care of each other. It may not be perfect, but we can do a lot better than the norm. And I think that's where that's come from. So what are we doing on site? The key questions. As was mentioned, everybody's going to be asked and required to take a test. There'll be different ways to do that. We're going to update you with the specificities of the logistics because we're figuring out the smoothest way to do it for this amount of people, but you will be required to take the COVID-19 test. And so your registration will be complete only when you've done that. And we'll continue to provide self-test kits throughout the 4 days of the forum so that you can continue to test daily, which is what we'd encourage. We'll just have those on hand. And someone asked about cost. This is all at our cost. We are providing these free of charge, of course. Someone asked what will happen if you have a positive test. So we are asking that if you have a positive COVID-19 test, that you will be instructed not to attend the forum in person, and we'll give you advice to isolate. And we want to assure you that you'll be, even if you have to isolate, physically, we don't want you to feel isolated emotionally, socially, practically. We'll signpost people for support. We'll make sure we have the information about medical care if that's necessary, and so on. And I think we know that this could feel really hard if you're one of a few people who might have to isolate because of being positive for COVID-19 or symptomatic. But we're seeing this as part of collective commitment to reduce harm. And I think with the amount of people that we have, if there's a reason to isolate if you're positive, and that it might feel hard, but I think the difference in impact, the difference in harm between a few cases that are handled well and a few cases that are not handled well and turns into like a super spreader event is what we're trying to avoid. So that could have really serious consequences. So this isolation protocol is part of reducing harm and risk. And it's not just like us as participants and staff, right? We're also thinking about the well-being of the staff at the convention center, the people serving us in the hotel, the workers, the local population. And also, I think, excuse me, someone in the chat mentioned our responsibility to the people when we go home as well. And I think that's also a really important factor, that we're looking at our responsibility to communities while we're in Bangkok and beyond, right? As this is a global community. With that in mind, we'll also be asking folks to wear a high quality mask. That means like an N95 or equivalent, because we know now that those are the most protective. They reduce the risk the most. And that's unless you have a medical exemption for that. And we'll be, again, providing some masks for each participant, so that won't be like a cost burden. The final thing is that the good news about the convention center is that it has an inbuilt air filtration system, which was actually created with COVID-19 in mind, and adds another layer of protection. And so I guess the thing I want to say, I don't know if anyone has seen the Swiss cheese metaphor. Like, Swiss cheese is this like cheese with the holes in, right? And there's a metaphor about these public health measures that, each layer has holes in. Like, masking is not perfect, testing is not perfect, isolation is not perfect, air filtration is not perfect. But when you put those slices with the holes next to each other, they cover up the holes pretty well. So you can come out with a much reduced risk. And that's kind of how we're looking at it. It's not perfection, but it's like a number of things we can do that don't take too much effort, that make quite a big impact. And zooming out to the political, I know I don't have too long, but I just want to reiterate that we're thinking of this as protection, not limitation. We're thinking of this as expanding possibility, not reducing it. And it's not just that disabled people and immunocompromised people have the right to access spaces like big conventions like this. It's also that our spaces are richer when those people are safe and included. Like, if we have this safer, accessible meeting, we will have perspectives from disabled communities that have forward-looking solutions that might not be heard in the room if we hadn't taken these measures. It's a harm reduction framework. We're going to hear more about harm reduction soon. But also, we are feminists who reject fascism. Part of fascism is seeing certain people as more disposable than others. So when we reject that, we also reject fascism. When we reject individualism and kind of returning to work despite the, not having any health protections, like when we reject those things, we also reject corporate power and capitalism. And it's basically about us loving feminist movements, wanting to care for the people in feminist movements, wanting to keep them safer and make our movements more sustainable. So that's pretty much it. I tried to be as brief as I could. I just wanted to say one more thing, which is about the evolving context and other health threats, you could say, areas of concern. So while this strategy kind of evolved in response to like our learnings from the COVID-19 pandemic, we are also looking more broadly in terms of public health and other health factors. Fortunately, all these measures that we've put in place are also going to protect from other communicable diseases. But we have, as we've said, 3,000 to 4,000 people in one space at a time when climate disaster makes things like pandemics more more likely. We have to look to the future, unfortunately, of other viruses with pandemic potential. So we're seeing it more holistically. One of the things of note at the moment has been Mpox. So I just wanted to reassure people. I think someone also asked about Mpox specifically in the chat. We have been monitoring this and the new clade of Mpox, and we've got advice from the World Health Organization on that. We're going to share guidance, signs and symptoms to look out for, ways to mitigate spread, and so on. And again, not as a fear-mongering or getting too freaked out about it, but just to have the information. We're also really aware that with Mpox specifically, and not only Mpox, but with this particular disease, that it has been stigmatized. It's stigmatized on the basis of race and LGBT identity. And so we're really trying to be intentional about, sharing the information, having a community approach, but not reinforcing any of those problematic notions around Mpox. We know that it can come with these awful things when crossing borders. So people from certain countries are asked to show, are kind of monitored, asked to show proof that other countries are not, and we're aware of the racist overtones of that. And so we want to do everything we can to make sure that you have the best experience and you're respected in your process from home to the forum and back. I tried to be as quick as possible, and I'm wrapping up now. I hope I answered the questions that came in the chat. Someone said, where and when will we be tested for COVID-19? It will happen before you enter the forum, just for practical reasons, but we'll share specifics as they evolve, because there's quite a lot to figure out about how to do that. But we should have testing available at the AWID official forum hotels and at the venue. Thank you. Someone asked about vaccines. We're not asking for vaccine proof, and I don't think that Thailand asks for that at the border anymore, as far as I'm aware, although I'm not the expert in that. Thanks for bearing with Zachary. I think you can lead us to talk about harm reduction, which is quite intimately linked to some of this as well. So over to you.
Yeah, thank you for already making the link with your presentation. Hi everyone, I'm Zakaria. I'm based in Beirut. I'll describe myself. I'm quite Middle Eastern looking. I wear glasses. I have salt and pepper hair. I have a light beard, and currently I'm wearing black, and my background is black, which is a new feature I discovered in Zoom, and I'm quite enjoying, where it's just completely dark behind me. I'm just considering that I'm based in Beirut. I think it's, since you talked about fascism, it's also a good time to say fuck settler colonialism. And Israel, who is currently still ethnically cleansing the Palestinians and destroying Palestine and continuing to occupy Palestine, and currently attacking my home country and my hometown and cities. So it's good to, despite of all of these things, to also keep going. And we're constantly telling ourselves that we shouldn't let these things stop us from continue to work and be present and not contribute to any erasure of our presence in spaces. Thank you for AWID for allowing me to do this, and also to be part of the accessibility committee, and really in its wider sense. I was part of the harm reduction subcommittee. It was a very nice team. We had early on conversations on what could harm reduction look like at the forum, and automatically the conversation became beyond just drug use or hooking up and harm reduction around it. It was also a lot around how to deal with situations, how to deal with triggers, how to deal with quite an overwhelming space when there's so many people, how to, reducing harm also for our neurodivergent diversion peers. So it had a quite a broad look at what harm reduction could be, which is, as a result from that subcommittee, we produced a harm reduction guide. The aim of this guide is to create a brief and a practical tool to share with the participants at the forum. We know, like, sometimes we can write all the guidelines on paper. It doesn't mean that we are able to do them or we have the opportunity to do them. But we really thought of it as just these reminders for ourselves, specifically around how to take care of ourselves to reduce harm. So we know that it might not be as easy, and I'm speaking from personal experience, but we're really hoping that this guide can kind of help us to um, uh, have that thinking when we are present. So whether reducing harm on how we view health and how we view our health linked to other people's health, and how it's linked to beyond just the moment we are in, but also like one of our peers from AWID was mentioning, to have an area for what did she call it? She called it something. The area where there isn't so much buzzing.
The low sensory zone. Yeah.
The low sensory zone. So all of those things are quite amazing tools. Hopefully we'll have there to help us manage any kind of harm that can be. I will mention a few things that also AWID has been working on, which is before that, I do want to say a couple of two more things. One is the target audience, to emphasize that it's for all participants. This is not just speaking for the queer and trans community. This is not just speaking for communities that use drugs, which sometimes are trans and queer also. It's speaking to everyone because this is an issue that is quite universal and it touches us all, and it's not something that is focused on or centered around one identity or another. So that's important to highlight. And the second thing is that we really try to also highlight how we can manage it as participants, specifically around triggers, especially like sometimes people who are on panels, we do have a recommendation out there for them on how to manage your panel, how to manage it beyond just saying trigger warning, that, being mindful of the rooms that we and the spaces we are occupying and who could be in the room, and how our comfort in talking about triggering things really differs from one person to another. So other things that was also done to make sure that we are, as the guide was called, we are enjoying our time. Why did I lose the name of the guide?
How to enjoy yourself? Or?
How to enjoy yourself. Yes, to make sure that you are also. Thanks a lot for the help. Okay, so they're turning a lot of traditionally men's bathroom into gender neutral to make sure that bathrooms are accessible for everyone at all times and not be cramped. Also, there's a lot of work happening with local partners to make sure that the staff that will be working with the AWID team on the forum and in the Marriott Hotel, where the Trans Feminism Feminist Forum is happening and the Funders Forum are happening, have basic training to better understand the diversity of participants and that will be attending the forum. We know it's not perfect, but again, we putting these systems in place and these tools in place, hopefully will help us to do a better job now and later. The organization Rainbow Sky LGBTQ Association that is based in Bangkok, they're holding, what do you call it? They work basically with the LGBT community, people that use drugs, sex workers, and people living with HIV. They are going to park their mobile health bus at the forum in front of the main entrance. So anyone that needs any kind of support, services, or information can visit them there. We highly recommend for you to engage with them and of course, come back to us if anything else is needed. Information and resources will be shared. It will also be included in the harm reduction report, in the harm reduction guide, to make sure that whether local resources that you need to know about the law about some of the regulations that are out there, some of the things you need to know about the city, and other organizations that you might want to connect to or reach out to for any specific case. The only example I can think of right now, so as a trans person, if I forgot my hormone back home and I needed to connect to a network of other trans peers to get that shot, ideally that some of these connections would help us to community organize what's going on. There was just a bombing in Beirut, so just give. I'm glad it didn't come up. I'm gonna wrap it up very quickly and turn off, and I'm happy if anything I can answer later. Okay. Yeah, the last part was providing legal counsel during the forum for any kind of information that people might need. I'm gonna wrap it up for very quickly, and I'll be back in a minute.
Thank you, Zakaria. We're with you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you in particular, the Accessibility Committee, Zakaria, Isabel, actually Tina, and you can spotlight me now as we wrap up. And Fair also on that. Okay, as we expected, we ran out of time for additional questions and answers. But I'm really glad that people were able to have many of their questions. I saw at points about 40 questions in the chat box, and the team was able to try to remove or answer many of those. So thanks, everyone. Feel free to answer the Menti and ask a few, because there's 2 questions about logistics and accessibility that we can help document. Just so you know, every week or every few days, actually, we're going to be updating the frequently asked questions, the FAQs on the website. Many of these questions are going to be there. So it's really important that you ask. Okay, I'm going to go to these notes so I don't miss anything. Thanks for the wonderful session. Yeah, no, I cannot even believe we were able to answer so much around the logistical work. Great job, team. There's a lot of work that's been going into the planning of the forum, and as you've seen around accessibility, it's very intentional. And for me, who's worked in other conference spaces, it's been an absolute pleasure and an immense learning journey to do this work. So we wanted to give you a few details of where you can find the information. If someone wants to drop all of those links into the chat right now, that would be a good time. Most of them are on our forum website. Caroline, can I just bring you on here for 1 second to ask or drop in the chat when the program is going to be out? Because a lot of people were asking about that. I think that's one of the outstanding questions that I actually don't know the answer. But yeah, so thanks again to our fabulous speakers. We're so grateful for you to be here. Zakaria in particular, thank you for being here in times of dire stress, and we're in solidarity. You've brought a lot of wisdom, and next week, Wednesday, is our final session. So check your calendars. That session is going to be our final tech check. We're going to be talking about the Forum app. We are also going to be talking about the hybrid experience for people who are joining virtually and in hubs. So the hubs are going to be community gatherings in a few different locations around the world where people can participate in a community setting, but also a link in with us in Bangkok. So with registration closed right now, we're really trying to amp up the feeling of community and feminist joy and resistance within the virtual space. So please come to that and check it out. I think I'm going to invite Faye and also Virginia, because while we're waiting, to kind of like wrap it up. Faye?
Thank you, Jess, and thank you for all the love that we can see in the chat. We feel it, and it energizes us. I just want to end by saying that the forum, while it's being organized by AWID, it's a movement event, so it's our forum. It belongs to all of us, and that we are trying our best logistically to keep each other safe. So the responsibility is AWID's as much as it's each and every one of us. So I look forward to seeing everybody in Bangkok, and thank you for attending.
Great, great. And as people are just doing the Menti and we're having just maybe we could put on the light music now, but I'd love to hear from Faye and Virginia while people are just signing out. What are two of your favorite moments of being on the Accessibility Committee?
Well, I have to say, not necessarily a moment, but like an abstract thing, was the possibility to connect with, I didn't introduce myself. I am Virginia Sana. I work with Women Enabled International, an organization that works to advance human rights of women and gender diverse folks with disabilities around the world. And what I was going to say is that me coming from the disability world, I really enjoyed and appreciated the opportunity to work more closely with folks working on harm reduction, and that has informed a lot of the work that we're doing, and I'm just so grateful for that. And I wanted to highlight one big win of the Accessibility Committee that I don't think was mentioned, which is the fact that personal assistants of people with disabilities can attend at no extra cost. So that is a huge win, and that ensures that a lot of folks with disabilities can attend. So I really appreciate that, and we as a community really appreciate that. So I'm just so thankful for all of the work, the love, and the care. And I wanted to say also that Zachariah is sending you so much love, and I think getting to work more closely with you has been one of the highlights as well. So just sending you so much love to you, and I hope you keep safe.
Thanks, Virginia. For me, the highlight is just having an accessibility committee where so many events actually do not prioritize that. I think we've heard it over and over again that we need to bring accessibility to our events. And this has been an opportunity to learn, and we have learned loads. But also, I think if I can say any highlight of any sort, it's the members that have so selflessly given to AWID and to the community, and just put in so much effort. To you, Virginia, to Zachariah, with everything else going on, all the love and peace going with you, and I cannot wait to see you at the forum.